I view things a little bit differently than most of the students you've come across. Up until a year ago, things were going really good for me. I had just started a new job. It was really good company. I was making good money. Not that I didn't like what I was doing before. I was an equipment mechanic. I worked on pumps and motors and engines. I figured out how these complex systems work together. And then I solved problems. I enjoyed it. It was very fulfilling. But about a year ago, I got sick. And I ended up in the hospital and had 2 weeks in the hospital. It was like being in jail, just with better looking guards. So I had time to think, and I realized that I needed to do something else because my career was making me sick. So when I got out, I started going back to school with the intent of getting a degree in accounting. And the thing about the accounting program at Clackamas is that it's heavily weighted towards business. There's management and supervisory management and all these business concepts. And as I was reading them, my mind was being blown away. I really enjoyed these concepts like empowerment, total person management, understanding how to create win-win situations, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. These were things I wish I would have heard years ago. The more I studied, though, the more I realized that these ideas I heard before, just in a different container, from a different perspective. And where I heard them was in the Bible. And you may be thinking, whoa, science has proven that the Bible is inaccurate. But that's not the case. They make claims towards that, but the reality is when you study the Bible, you find out that it's incredibly reliable. Concepts about microbiology that were ahead of its time are displayed in the Mosaic Law covenant given to the Israelites. The idea that the earth was a sphere, not flat, was talked about in the scriptures hundreds of years before Galileo took a stand on the issue. Historians find the Bible accurate. They use it to research topics or research archaeological digs. And so for this and many other reasons we don't have time to go into, we can trust the Bible. So back to these ideas that I find familiar. What am I talking about? Well, it's ideas about leadership, how to be a good leader. Ideas on ethics, what moral values should someone strive for? Human relations, and even self-fulfillment, that top of the pyramid in Maslow's hierarchy. Now, if we talk about leaders for a moment, Jesus Christ was foremost amongst the leaders in the Bible. Yet he was humble and he was modest, and he strove not to push people, but to draw them. He set the example as a servant leader, a contemporary management idea, yet he displayed it thousands of years ago. Here he is washing the feet of his apostles, a servant position. He explained to them, the greatest among you is the least. And that's really the idea we want our leaders to have today. Support their organization. Give their employees and their groups what they need to be successful. There's many more examples. David, Esther, both men and women, that we can utilize their example to become good leaders in organizations today. Another area we can think about is ethics, moral values, doing what is right. We all want to train our kids and our families to make good choices, and we want the same thing in our business organizations. And so the Bible has high moral standards on honesty, integrity, and many other areas. Even when faced with intense opposition, someone who is applying the principles in the Bible will do what is right. Even when faced with being alone, no one will ever know. Someone who applies the Bible principles will do what is right. Another area is equality. That's a huge issue in businesses today, and yet if we really read and understand the principles of the Bible preaches equality. Oftentimes it gets knocked as not being that, as being sexist or racist, but it is not. So another area we can talk about is playing together. Human relations. We have to get along. We have to work together. Essentially, we can think of the Bible as a operator's manual given to us by the designer of humans, and it tells us how to be good humans. And so there's ideas in there about there's more happiness in giving than receiving. People like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, tremendously wealthy, they'll tell you this, that money isn't everything. You have to do more to get happiness. Another idea is doing to others as you have them do to yourself, the golden rule. I've actually seen this in business textbooks, and yet it's from the Bible. When organizations operate on these types of ideas and principles found in the Bible, they can become more successful. So certainly I view things a little differently. I view things from the perspective of faith and the scriptures, but I have confidence that if you or anyone else applies the principles found in the Bible, they will be more successful in whatever role they have in their organization.